My wife lost her 17-year-old custom wedding ring. So, my wife and I have been married for 17 years at this point. We are still over heels in love with one another, and she is the absolute love of my life, as well as my closest friend, confidante, and co-conspirator, among other things. She began experiencing joint aches and pains, as well as slight swelling in her hands, wrists, ankles, and other joints around 2 years ago. So off we went to the doctor, who sent us to a rheumatologist for further evaluation. She discovers that she has rheumatoid arthritis, but she is not concerned since she immediately begins therapy. Forward to a month ago, when our North Texas weather decided to go berserk and began altering temperatures, rain and weather by the hour, as it appeared to do every few hours. The next morning, after overnight temperature swings and thunderstorms, she saw that her hands were enormous and worse, her little, delicate fingers appeared like sausages. And despite the fact that she had been warned about it, she had chosen to sleep with her wedding band on her finger. So it was off to the doctor's office, where they had to remove her engagement ring. Secondly, our rings were carefully ordered from Ireland and custom designed, with Gaelic phrases written around the outside of the ring, therefore ruling out any possibility of repair, and they were created and manufactured 17 years ago. She was disappointed. I reassured her that we would sort it out and that it wasn't a huge problem, but I could see that it was a major deal to her. Start the game in Sherlock Holmes mode. I Googled till I couldn't think of anything else to Google. I was able to discover that the original jeweler had closed his doors more than a decade ago, mostly owing to his advanced age. I went on another search. I eventually discovered his personal Facebook profile, and I contact him and wait. I eventually get a response from his daughter, who informs me that she had seen a pending message on her father's Facebook profile, and that he had died away just 6 months prior to my correspondence. I express my sympathies to her, and she inquires as to the nature of my inquiry. I go into a lengthy rant about what had transpired, among other things. She assures me that she understands and expresses her regret for what has occurred. Let's fast forward a couple of weeks and see what happens. Then she adds that she was the daughter of the jewelry store owner and that I had received a message on Facebook from an unknown individual. After going through all of her father's designs and looking up approximate dates, she believes she has discovered the drawings, details, and molds among her father's possessions, and she wanted me to check this for her. I agreed. Yes, they are our wedding bands, she informed me after sending me images. She assured us that she would bring everything to us as quickly as possible and requested our mailing address. When I opened my email this morning, I was greeted with tracking information and photographs. One of our wedding rings, were made by her brother, who had taken over her father's company in her original size, plus 2 extras in bigger sizes, for the possibility that her health may cause them to bulge or shift. She shipped them to us at no charge. We were very grateful. I inquired as to why they did both when mine was perfectly good, and she said that it would be unfair for my wife to have a new ring while I was permitted to retain my old one. She informed me that we needed to put our old wedding rings aside and focus on our new wedding bands instead. When I inquired about pay, she said that she felt privileged to carry on her father's work and spirit. Our new wedding bands will be delivered on Thursday, March 22nd. I'm trying to come up with a romantic way to offer them to her, since she has absolutely no idea what has happened. Any assistance would be much appreciated. Edit #1. I would usually keep things hidden from her, but I didn't want to tell her I was attempting anything just for her to be disappointed at the end. The most difficult thing for me from now until kids come will be to keep everything from her, since we are notorious for telling each other everything. So now I have to figure out not just how to accomplish this, but also how to avoid spilling the beans until then. Our friends have dubbed us Mickey and Mallory, as well as Marshall and Lily from the television show How I Met Your Mother, since we are completely honest with one another. Edit #2. I was thinking about taking her to our local favorite restaurant, where I proposed to her 18 years ago. She's a nurse, BA nurse, which is how we met, and so always goes to the bathroom to wash her hands before ordering. When I first proposed, I waited until she got up to wash her hands, dropped her ring in her wine glass, and waited. Now I'm thinking about doing it again. Edit #3. And to those of you who think I am amazing, I don't believe you in the least. My world revolves around her. She brought 2 boys into this add-water family who were a delight to raise and who are now some of my closest friends. She is the reason I'm able to breathe, and she supported me and my family when I returned to school to get my 2 doctorates in order to further my work. She is a heroine in my eyes. Every morning, I get out of bed and work hard to regain her trust all over again. This was one tiny thing I was able to do to bring her pleasure, and it is her happiness that keeps my heart beating. Also, it doesn't matter if I seem sentimental to the rolling donuts, since I'm not one of them. Men should not be allowed to get gooey about their wives, and they should not be permitted to have any. So, I just returned from lunch with my wife, where she was presented with her new wedding rings. We kept it low-key and semi-private, with no photographs or video taken. We made a plan to take her cut ring to a nearby jeweler after lunch, and we asked our 2 boys to join us for lunch before the appointment. While placing an order, the oldest son requests to see the damaged/cut wedding band, claiming that he may be able to repair it. He takes it below the table and begins acting as if he is squeezing and straining it. He then places a complete fixed band on the table and asks his mother if that works. She is amazed and places the band on her finger, but it is too large. He claims he can repair it and requests the band. Our wife unwillingly, and with a look of his going on her face, passes the band to our youngest. He takes it underneath the table and squeezes and strains it, resulting in a smaller, but not quite right, fit for her when she puts it on. She is now attempting to figure it out, and as she removes the band from her finger and begins to scrutinize it, I take it away from her and do the same trick as our guys, but this time the band fits perfectly on her finger, and she has had enough. When she eventually removes it, she examines it carefully and cannot figure out what it is she has done wrong. Till on the table, my eldest puts her cut and older band, our youngest places the too large band, and I place the next largest band available on the table. At this time, she's simply gazing at us all, so I explain what had occurred, how I was able to locate the jeweler, and so on. She doesn't say anything. I even took the time to show her the Reddit article. She didn't start weeping until she read the comments and saw all of the kindness and love that you people had shown her. Lunch was ordered. We all chatted about everything, ate lunch together as a family, and then we all went our separate ways to work, home, and other destinations. As a result of reading all of the responses, she expressed her displeasure with my decision to go on full public display, and she expressed gratitude to those who advised keeping things low-key and semi-private. So, let's talk about the jeweler. They replied to my email about the publication of their name and information, stating that they would want to remain anonymous. Because of their father's dying, the eldest son is only producing jewelry and doing repairs in order to make up on previously placed orders and work requests. They want to close the facility permanently after all of the backlog has been cleared. They supplied us copies of the plans and mold for our bands, which we kept in our house safe in case anything like this happened again and we needed to have something produced or created. I followed up with an email asking if there was any way I could reciprocate their generosity, but I've yet to get a response. Regardless, my wife intends to visit several local establishments and create a Texan gift package for them, which she will then give to them over the mail. That's all there is to it. She is ecstatic and thrilled at the same time. I'm relieved that it's done, since I had no clue it would get this much attention, and I'm relieved that we can now return to our usual lives. Thank you to everyone for your recommendations, and we are thankful for the outpouring of real concern. A special thank you to everyone who gave silver, gold, and platinum, which was not required but highly appreciated by the organization.